evening to those who are joining from uh, far ends and in Asia and so on. So today we are going to study about another story, another chapter of Christ Object Lesson. And we are in Christ Object Lesson, page 198. So we have so far gone very close to 200 pages we have studied so far. And we will be studying this chapter, but I don't think we can finish today, but this particular chapter, so we will see much details next week, God willing, as well. So this chapter is based on Luke 15, verses 11 through 32. 11 through 32. This is a parable that Jesus happened to mention. It's in a series of lost and found, and this chapter also titles as Lost and is Found. And I straight away go to the story or the parable because it's very common to us and well known by even our children, because when we were little children, we learned this, and now we are still studying about this. So no point of explaining this story, because all of us, we know the story. So, but what are we going to study in this chapter is a big question now. It's a challenge, right? And we had to decode the whole parable with the help of the spirit of prophecy analogy, and let us see each and every event, why it took place, for what reason it took place, and how it is related with our lives, and why it is being told to us, and why it is recorded in the Bible. So this is what we are studying today, not the story, because story we all know. And obviously, once we study and finish, I think the story is inevitably, we will learn the story as well. Now, beginning with Luke chapter 15, verse 24, it's verse 24 is talking about, for this my son was dead and is alive again. He was dead, but now he's alive. So this is a good explanation by the father, and very happy moment. And we all know Jairus's daughter was resurrected from the dead, and Jesus said that okay, she was sleeping, and when he said that she is sleeping, people started to laugh, and it was something unimaginable, in, like, kind of a situation that humanly it is not possible for us to hear. But in this parable, we are trying to see the spiritual aspects and the deep meanings of spiritual death and spiritual resurrection, and so on and so forth. Let's begin with the Christ Object Lesson, page 198. Here it's read the first paragraph. It says, the parables of the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the prodigal son bring out in distinct lines God's pitying love for those who are straying from him. It's talking about his love. It's talking about his love. And especially the lost sheep, if you talk about lost sheep, went away and didn't know the way to come back, and needed help. The lost coin, to remind you again what we studied last week, that it has no life, but it has value, and it has to be found by somebody who lost it. So that's, there you are, finding that lost coin. But in this case, it's talking about the prodigal son. Prodigal son, what happened was, he went away, and the father waiting for him to come back, waiting for him to come back. So sometimes people might have an idea saying that, okay, what kind of father is this? If our child has gone away, we are not going to let it go, and we will be finding him. We will be finding him. And he's not found, we will be very sorry. So this father is very funny. He's not a proper father. He didn't go finding him. So don't you think that is a kind of an argument that, from fathers or people's point of view? Yes, of course. But we can see the 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 reason why the father didn't go behind him, finding him, because it wouldn't have presented any option to the son to come back. Because if father goes and find him out and he rejects coming back, then he will not come back at all, because he will feel it's a double rejection. I said no, and I came from out of the house, and now he came behind me, finding me, and I said no to him. Now, how can I go back? Now, I will find some other option to go elsewhere. So, this is another aspect that we have to consider. All the aspects we have to see, all the angles we have to see to understand this. So, I go further reading this first paragraph, and it's compared with all the other three parables, and now we are talking about the pitying love of the father, and how he responded or how he reacted. And I read now, although they have turned away from God, he does not leave them in their misery. He does not leave them in their misery. He is full of kindness and tender pity toward all who are exposed to the temptations of the artful foe. In the parable of the prodigal son is presented the Lord's dealing with those who have once known the Father's love, but who have allowed the tempter to lead them captive and at his will. And they let the tempter to tempt and take along with him. So when somebody is obsessed with someone else and not about the father, what happens? That they will not listen to the father at that time. So let him learn his lesson. And then he will turn to me. I am going to wait for him. He will come. That is a confidence that father is having here. That's what we understand here. Now, the story begins once again in the next paragraph. It's talking about a certain man had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father. So it goes on. So we know the story, so I don't want to go into detail. But very important part I want to read here in that the following paragraph. This younger son had become weary of the restraint of his father's house. He thought that his liberty was restricted. Now, how many children are thinking in this way? That my liberty is being restricted. I can't wear what I want to wear. I can't go where I want to go. I can't hear what I want to hear. And I cannot see what I want to see. My liberty is restricted. My liberty is restricted. I don't like to stay in this house. This is a prison cell for me. So how many children must be thinking? So I don't want to go very far, because I was thinking the same thing when I was young. But I never left the house, because I knew that, okay, what will happen? Because mostly the prodigal son story I have read at that time, so I didn't want to go. And that's something that you and I have to think about, and the children especially today. If you are hearing, if you are listening to this story today, please try to understand. Please try to understand that liberty is not what your parents trying to guide you in the correct way and try to teach you the correct things. Sometimes they may be hard or harsh on you. Sometimes they may scream at you, but still, because all these, because of their love towards you. and each one has their own way of approach, and each one has their own way of responding to whatever the call. So this is the way we have to understand. Now, we are going further. So, this portion is also very important for us to understand. His father's love and care for him were misinterpreted. Misinterpreted by whom? Misinterpreted by the deceiver, misinterpreted by the tempter. And he has misinterpreted father's love in a different way. And now that the son, he understands it differently. Then further I read, and he determined to follow the dictates of his own inclinations. He wanted to follow his inclinations and his thinking, his way. He wanted to go after his imagination. His imagination. That is what we understand here. Now we go to the next page. Christ Object Lesson, page 199. Here we read, the youth acknowledges no obligation to his father and expresses no gratitude. Yet, he claims the privilege of a child in sharing his father's goods. He's talking about I have in I have my share of all what you possess, and I want to claim it, and I own half of all this what you have. So this is my possession. He's trying to claim. He's trying to claim. Now we read further. The inheritance that would fall on him at his father's death, he desires to receive now. So that means what this son thinking is that this is something that we never imagined, that without the help of the Holy Spirit and the inspiration of Ellen G. White's writing, that we never think about that. He is getting this inheritance, thinking or pretending or implying that father is dead, and when father dies, I am supposed to get the inheritance portion of my portion of my inheritance, because father is no more. I have to get my portion. So he considers that more than the father's love, the possessions or the goods or whatever the inheritance he's supposed to get from the father. My dear brothers and sisters, what a big heartbreak or disappointment the father would have had, from the father's side of it. And just imagine that I'm a father, and how I feel it if my son or my daughter comes and tell me something like that. This wealth belong to me. That property belong. I want my portion. So how do I feel it? So cannot imagine that. It's so difficult. And here we understand that he want the inheritance as if he think the father is dead. Father is dead. I don't want you anymore, Father. I don't want to call you. I don't want to see your face. I am going bye-bye. Give my portion. That's what he wanted. And again, I read here, the inheritance that would fall on him at his father's death, he desires to receive now. And further, he is bent on present enjoyment and cares not for the future. He wanted fun in today's language. So he wanted to enjoy his life. He wanted to marry. He wanted to dance and he wanted to sing and spend his time. I don't need to explain, so you know how it is. And maybe to clubbing, to go to casinos, or to go to nightclub, and so many things available at that time. He wanted to spend his time. Now, we read further. I skip some lines and I'm going further to read in that same paragraph. There is no one to say, do not do this, for it will be an injury to yourself, or do this because it is right. Evil companions help him to plunge ever deeper into sin, and he wastes his substance with riotous, riotous living, kind of riotous living, aggressive living. And he is showing the people that I'm so aggressive, I'm so active, I am throwing money and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm enjoying. And there are a lot of friends for him, girlfriends and boyfriends, and all coming and going, and they are all enjoying with him. Now, here we read another Bible text also. The Bible tells of men who, professing themselves to be wise, became fools. This referred from Romans 1:22. And this is the history of the young man of the parable. This is a history of the young man of the parable. My dear brothers and sisters, there are some friends. They always tell that, please don't listen to your parents. Please don't listen to the elders. Don't listen to your pastor. Don't listen to the church elders. Don't go to do these things. Come, let us enjoy. Come, let us enjoy. I have mentioned this many times that I am a city kid and I grew up in the city and born and bred in the city, capital city. So that sometimes I feel that I may not fall asleep without noise. So grew up by the side of the highway and things like that. I I experienced this kind of friends and friendships. Now, my father was a dedicated Adventist and very well versed with the scriptures as well as the testimonies. I have mentioned this to many, so I'm just reminding once again that whenever I tell my dad, I want to go, I want to enjoy, and there's a party, I want to go, give me some money, I want to go, and then my father never give me money like that, so he always tell that, okay, go and take it. So, and we know where to go and take, so he tells that, okay, take money, no problem. So now I go and ask him, and then he tells me one thing. He never say that no to me. He always tell me, you like to go, you're always free to go. You're a free being. You are an adult now. And because I'm talking about after 16, 17, like he used to tell me like that. So then he tells me, make sure you take your guardian angel with you. And without the angel, don't go. Because you are going without the angel. You are not safe. So I cannot allow you to go without the angel. Take the angel also and go. Then I pause. I won't take the money. I go and I sit in my room and I cry because I know the place that I want to go, my guardian angel is not going to come. And then my father comes after some time and asks me that, okay, why you're not going? Then he says, no, dad, I don't want to go. Then my father won't ask anything, but he come and embrace and tell that, okay, thank you for listening. And he will give me some options to enjoy. So he always give me some alternatives. He said that, okay, go this trip, I will make some arrangements for you, go for this, go to the beach, do this or something with the nature or something like that. So that's, I'm telling you, my dear, the parents who are listening, please don't restrict your children, but guide them correctly and teach them. And here we find that, in this parable, the father gives a very good example. He's not stopping, he's not screaming, he's not doing anything. He's asking, okay, he's giving his portion and he's praying and he's waiting for the son to come back. And here we read again further in that same remaining portion of that paragraph. The wealth which he has selfishly claimed from his father, he squanders upon harlots. The treasure of his young manhood is wasted. He wasted his time. He wasted his money. Everything was wasted. My dear brothers and sisters, my dear children, please try to understand this parable very well because it is a well-known story. but don't think it's a story. It is talking about you and me, you and me. Perhaps that we have passed that age, and we are in the position of parents now, and the way we look at our children, way we look at our children in the church, in the community, and don't ever feel you're isolated. If you have anything, go to a parent in the church and talk to them. They will definitely going to lovingly listening to you and give you guidelines. Don't ever think that, okay, you don't have a father, you don't have a mother. No, you have enough of fathers and mothers in the church. So don't ever feel that if you don't have anyone physically, people are only a call away. Talk to them and ask them to help you. They will definitely going to help you in the church community. I'm very, very sure about that. We go to Christ Object Lesson, page 200. Now, here we find another beautiful passage. The precious years of life, the strength of intellect, the bright visions of youth, the spiritual aspirations are all are consumed in the fires of lust. It's all gone. The vigor is gone. The times have spent, and he wasted everything. That's what we read in the previous paragraph. Now, on the page 200, we read that all being consumed, the spiritual aspirations were consumed. Aspirations. When we talk about aspirations, you should have aspirations. There's nothing wrong in that. Here we talk about spiritual aspirations. It's not only that, the intellectual aspirations, okay, professional aspirations, and progressive aspirations, all gone. All gone. You have wasted everything. But it's not too late. It is not too late. That's what we understand. I skip some lines and I go further in the same page. I like to read here. The youth who has boasted of his liberty now finds himself a slave. He is in worse bondage, holden with the cords of his sin. Proverbs 5:22 is being referred here. The glitter and tinsel that enticed him have disappeared, and he feels the burden of his chain. My dear brothers and sisters, children, please try to understand that, now when we think about freedom, it is not freedom, it is slavery. Slavery in sin, slavery to sin. So that's what we understand. Sitting upon the ground in that desolate and famine-stricken land with no companions but the swine, he is fain to fill himself with the husks on which the beasts are fed. So we know the story. Now, he has no other companions, only the pigs around. So he's in a pigsty. So this is terrible. And it's terrible for a Jew. And I have never touched a pig, but never eaten, never experienced. But anyway, you can't imagine that people eating pigs. When you look at the pig, so this is something that, okay, maybe that's the reason that they always say that, okay, if you're eating a bull, they say you're eating beef, and but chicken looks okay, but because that you look at a chicken, that you are eating chicken. But when you're looking at a pig, they won't say that I'm eating a pig, they say I'm eating pork. Okay, so maybe glorified name for that. Now we go to the next paragraph. Here it says, what a picture here of the sinner's state. All those surrounded with the blessing of his love, there's nothing that the sinner, bent on self-indulgence and sinful pleasure, desires so much as separation from God. So what is sin? What is sin? That I was developing a sermon recently, and trying to identify, because whenever we talk about sin, we always say that, okay, what is sin? We say that sin is breaking the commandments, or we are going against the commandments. No, brethren, I think it is further than that. We are breaking our relationship. We are betraying God is sin, and that we are forsaking him is a sin. We don't want to listen to him anymore, it's a sin. So it has an extended understanding what is sin, because we need to understand that sin. We decode sin. We understand that what is sin? That is our self-indulgence and sinful pleasure, desire so much as separation from God. What is sin? Separation from God. That is sin. So, and here another comparison is given beautifully by Ellen G. White in page 200 of Christ Object Lesson. As Cain went out from the presence of the Lord to seek his home, as the prodigal wandered into the far country, so do sinners seek happiness in forgetfulness of God. Romans 1:28. Whatever the appearance may be, every life centered in self is squandered. Whoever attempts to live apart from God is wasting his substance. That's what we understand here. That's what we understand here. We are wasting our time. We are wasting and we are building our empire without God. So what will happen? It will collapse. It has no existence. It has no life. And here, that prodigal son is being explained like compared to Cain, who departed from God, who departed from God. So we will see that the return of the prodigal son and the father's response, and what the hope left for us, each one of us as parents and their children of God, and also to my dear children who are listening. This is a good lesson for all of us to understand. May the good Lord help us that, God willing, let's study the remaining portion of this parable next week. Amen.